Hey, honey.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, everybody. I'm Fen, and this is Retro Review, our review show where we go through my copious amounts of out-of-print RPG books, magazines, and other tabletop gaming paraphernalia one at a time. And to keep me from rambling, we have Laura.
Hey everybody. So to keep us on track, I'm going to ask a list of questions.
All right.
So what are we reviewing tonight?
Tonight we got Dragon Magazine number 230. This is the June 1996 20th anniversary issue, also with a bit more of a focus on dragons.
Okay, and this is also from Eagle Hill and Prescott.
This is also from Eagle Hill and Prescott.
Okay.
This, I believe, yes, is the last of the Eagle Hill stash, because this is the next to last AD&D era Dragon magazine that I have.
Wow. Okay, do you want to give us a quick synopsis of the articles inside?
Alright, so like I said, this is dragon focused, so we're going to hit dragons for quite a while throughout this issue. So the first article is about the orbs of dragonkind. They are new magical items that are intelligent orbs that allow the user to speak with and charm dragons, as well as giving them other powers and defenses. But as intelligent magical items, if you don't share their moral philosophy, their alignment, or you just don't get along with the intelligent magical item, they can work against you. So
did they all, are they...
They're
their moral stance, is it all pretty much the same, or is it kind of like luck of the draw?
It depends on what kind of dragon the Orb of Dragonkind is designed to be used with. So if it's one that can take control of like red dragons, then it's usually that one's going to be a little more evil. If it's one for good dragons, it's going to be more good kind of thing. And based on the age of the dragons, because dragons get more powerful as they get with age, they have like an age range that the orbs can control. The more powerful the orb, the older the dragon it can control, and the more powerful the orb, the more likely it is to turn on you, even if you do share its moral convictions.
So, use carefully.
Yep. Next article is Dragon Slayers, the most dangerous game. It's an article on how to create dragon hunting characters, such as a code for dragon slaying paladins. Also has kits for fighters, rangers, as well as paladins, dragon lords, which are dragon riders, plus a spell to charm dragons that is more powerful than the charm monster because it is a more focused spell. Next article is Dragons of Legend, article about dragons in myth and literature, such as historical dragons, the dragons from Tolkien's mythology, and modern fiction. If you do want a really cool story to inspire you about dragons and dragon riders, I know the Game of Thrones, Dance of the Dragon stuff is really popular right now, but I would personally recommend Anne McCaffrey's Pern books. Those ones were really cool and really inspired a lot of my ideas about dragons when I first started playing D&D. Next article is Fire in the Five Peaks, an article on an NPC dragon from the Birthright campaign setting. Zachary Lifespan, who guards the Fire Peaks. It's this mountain where it's the resting place of the bones of his mother who died in battle with the birthright settings, god of dark, evil and darkness. So basically, in birthright, some of the dragons were basically gods, or could rival the power of the gods.
Mm-hmm.
The next article is about Old White Death, article on the White Dragon in the Forgotten Realms setting, detailing lair, territory, deeds, and his own custom spells of Ice Melt and Frost Vortex. It's basically being able to melt ice or create a basically snow hurricane.
That doesn't sound fun.
That does not sound fun at all. Arcane Lore column on new magic and spells, which, because it's a dragon themed issue, is focusing on dragon spells and items. There's the Amulet of Supremacy, which maximizes the damage, duration, and effects of Dragon's Breath Weapon and spell-like powers. There's Wing Armor, which is basically like a very fine light chainmail that the dragons can put over their wings, so if somebody's trying to like shoot or slash or cut their wings so they can't fly, the armor makes it so they don't take that damage and turns it all into bludgeoning so they can't actually get their wings ripped. As for new spells, we have Scale Spray, and which dragon showers coins, scales, and other debris from his body within a 50-foot radius. When I first heard about this, yeah, it was cool. It's like this whole thing of the dragon just magically just powers himself up and then just shakes himself like a wet dog, and all this stuff just starts flying out of its scales and just hits everybody around it. I'm like, that is so cool of an idea for a spell. Also, one of my favorite spells, and I have actually like modified it for my own home games. It's called Death Matrix. Basically, the dragon has to give up permanently one of its breath weapon attacks, because back in old school D&D, you only got 3 per day. So you had to go down to only having 2 per day. But if the dragon ever dies, its body explodes in the type of energy that is its breath weapon. So a red dragon would just explode into a big fireball. Mm-hmm. And it would just basically like a 50-foot radius, and it would deal all of its breath weapon to air in all directions, but only like 2/3 of the damage is actually its breath weapon. The other third of the damage is like bones and meat flying out, so you couldn't actually use like protections against like elements like fire or acid or cold or something like that to protect all of the damage. It's just like a dragon just... I love that spell. It is my favorite one. Just to have the whole thing like, the dragon's dead! Wait a second! Ba-boom!
And so is everyone else.
And so is everyone else. I am an evil DM sometimes. Additional list of the dragon spells, and also there's a list of dragon spells from past Dragon magazines and the Dragon Knight module and the Dragonomicon source book, 2nd edition version of it. So there's that stuff all in that article about dragon magic. The roll of books, yeah, I've skipped this in the past. I usually skip the roll of computers and the roll of books because it's book reviews and old out-of-date video game reviews for the roll of computers. So, but this column focused on it's normally the articles that column's focused on a bunch of novels, but this month it started with the Fantasy Role-Playing Gamers Bible, which is apparently 2/3 of the book is tips and advice, and the last third is reviews and suggestions. And I really want to find a copy of that book to work on for mine. I think I'm gonna... Actually, you want to see if you can find it on Amazon while I go through the rest of the articles? Yeah, Fantasy Role-Playing Gamers Bible. Okay, material... Matella's God is a Dragonlance story set after the Cataclysm, basically when the gods said, okay, we're done, the mortals, you can do whatever you want, we're not going to give you divine power anymore, we're peace out. And how a dragon became a false god until it was defeated. Because a lot of people are trying to basically like fake it, and there was a lot of false religions that came about on Dragonlance after the Cataclysm. Lots of crazy crazy priests declaring themselves as a new prophet, and dragons taking over as new gods. Rogues Gallery is a column of NPCs. This month is 4 Nordic-style adventurers, a bard, a mage, a fighter, and a druid. They're all 6th to 9th level, so a good NPC mid-level adventuring team, especially if you're in an icy environment for like a rival adventuring party to throw against your players. Dragon Dice is a new column for the new game. It shows off the undead armies, their dice and units. Yeah, they tried making a collectible dice game,
That's kind of weird.
which you buy packs and it would have like random dice in it, and yeah, Star Wars Destiny card game tried doing that same thing where there'd be dice and cards, and it's always clunky, and you know, a die is a die is a die. It doesn't really, like, nothing really makes it collectible because it's plastic.
Mm-hmm.
Unless your dog chews on it, it's pretty much going to be in mint condition anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, why is this considered to be a collector's item? Yeah, it
Obviously not.
it died out super fast. Like, I was finding packs of that stuff at like Dollar Tree for like up until like 95, 96. Just because it was just like, hey, look at this, and they're like, no, we want cards with pictures of Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh and all that type of stuff. We want cool stuff, not weird dice. So yeah, it died a hard, fast death. Forum, this is the people writing in letters, responses from other players, comments and opinions. This one has a story about how an older brother who was 16 introduced the writer at age 8 to D&D 12 years ago and helped them to learn how to love reading. I thought that was a really cute little story about,
that's cool.
you know, your older brother basically be like, yeah, you can play, but you're gonna have to read the books. And then it's like, okay, he's actually reading the books. Okay, well, I'll start handing you down all my Tolkien and other stuff. And it's really cool, like really good seeing family come together over the game. Sage Advice is the FAQ column this month, focusing on spells, magical items, and optional rules. So some of the stuff that was in here was they cleared up a nasty trick of a player trying to break the rules by using a psionic power to place items inside of people to kill them, but actually they're like, the item that's inside the person or inside a wall or something like that doesn't deal damage to the thing it's inside of. The thing inside, it takes damage while it's being forced its way out. So you can't like use a psychic mind power to put like a rock into someone's heart and then let go of it. It ends up being like their body like pushes on the rock and the rock comes out. It's like, so
Good to know.
yeah, you can't psychically insert anything into anybody and kill them. Nice try there, Ant-Man. You're not going to kill Thanos that way. Also, good reply to being asked, the writer of the column, about the statement that any sufficient new advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. They're like asking, because it's a question that always comes up. It's like, any advanced alien civilization is going to have tech that we're just, it's magic.
Mm-hmm.
And is all magic just science?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer boils down to magic just does a thing and only its thing. Like a light spell produces light. It doesn't produce heat. It doesn't produce radiation. It just light. And that's the difference between science and magic. Like science has to work in such a way that makes sense and logical and keeps in balance with everything else. Has like dominoes effects that like, yeah, if a light bulb, an old-fashioned light bulb, these old Dragon magazines bring up all the antique tech, would actually get hot, like super hot, hot enough that you can easily bake a brownie with a light bulb. But a magic light bulb was just like an LED light, you can't cook anything on one of those inside of an Easy Bake Oven.
How Easy Bake Ovens where it's...
Yeah, Easy Bake Ovens had a light bulb in there. So I like that idea of like, no, science, if it's science, there will be side effects. If it's magic, it will just do what it's supposed to do. Role-playing reviews. So the role-playing is the reviews column for new games. Again, normally I skip over this. Oh, yeah. Normally I skip over these, but this one talked about the Star Wars RPG and the Star Wars CCG.
There we go.
Okay, so the Star Wars RPG dropped the Dark Strider box set, which is another thing I'm going to have Laura look up for me to see if we can find a copy of it. It's the box set that introduced the Fringe. We're not part of the Imperials. We're not part of the Rebels. We're our own people over here on the side, just doing our thing. Introduced that Fringe establishment. Actually set it up as being called the Fringe in Star Wars canon, and aspect of the extended universe that's carried over to the Disney era. And I'm like, I always wanted that box set, but I never got my hands on it. And I'm glad to see that out of a 1 to 6 rating, they gave it a solid 4. So they gave it a good rating. And yeah, no, I looked at that thing at B. Dalton so many times, and I was like about ready to pull the trigger on it, and somebody bought it, or it got or they shipped it back because it hadn't sold, but it was no longer there the day that I had the money to be able to pick that up.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
All right, and then they reviewed the Star Wars CCG because that came out. It came out this year, and this magazine came out because this was '96. So it got rated a 3, which I can understand. Game had just gotten released, and it's hard to understand because it's not like a traditional card game where it's like I attack you, you attack me, we go back and forth. It's this whole thing of like, okay, so I gotta build like all my locations, and I gotta get my ship and my pilot and my lightsaber on my Jedi, and I gotta go here. It plays more like an RPG game, so I understand that they're like, it's good, it's cool, it's different, but it's not great. Plus, like the first set had a bunch of flaws in it, where there was one common card you could play like 20 copies in the deck, and you could make it so your opponent could never play a card, and you just win. And being very complex, and if you're able to figure out the complexity of it, you can pretty much win every game. So I was just like, yay! They talked about Star Wars CCG, and they talked about the West End Games RPG. So, but that's what I've got for this one. This one was one of my favorite of the Dragon magazines. I think it was actually like the first Dragon magazine I got my hands on, and it's the Dragon Magic section. I know you're going to ask, what am I going to keep out of this?
Yeah, that would be my next question.
Yeah, definitely plan on keeping the Dragon Spell and Magical Items section, and probably, I think that's it, because I think the Orbs of Dragonkind show up in the magical encyclopedias have all the magical items in them.
Okay.
So I don't think I need to keep that. Maybe the kits for the dragon related hunting character classes, but that's about it. I'm probably going to keep that Rogues Gallery, the 4 Viking themed NPCs. So.
Yeah.
There's a few things in here I'll end up keeping, but
Okay, well, that's all my questions.
hey, did anybody out there actually play the Darkstrider campaign box set? And if you did, let me know. Or if you have one for sale, let me know. Or, if you have a way to get me a copy, I'm not looking for a PDF. I'm looking for a physical copy. Contact me. If you got any Star Wars RPG West End Games version books, contact me. Seriously. I'm trying to complete a master set of that game. It's probably like the one RPG book set that I plan to actually have everything for. So please, get in touch with me. Have a great day, and peace.
Bye, everybody. Hey, everybody. Thanks for staying till the end of the episode. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on Facebook at Board Barista Productions. And if you want to support us, Patreon link at the bottom.